This video is going to cover the basics of using the PalmTech app for the iPhone, iPad, and Android phones and tablets. For this video, we'll be taking a look at the app on an iPhone. However, the app will look and function the same way on an iPad as well as on an Android device. Let's get started and go ahead and tap on the PalmTech app to open it up. We're now looking at the opening screen, and on this screen, we're able to open an existing inspection or we can start a new one. Let's go ahead and start a new inspection. When you start an inspection, you go to the Choose Template screen. Here, you can select the template from your local device, the cloud drive, or the default install. We're going to go ahead and tap on the house template from local. This brings up the screen where we give our file a name. We're going to call this 123 Somewhere Street. Once you have the name typed in, go ahead and we'll tap on Continue. We're now looking at the Choose Category screen. And this screen is where we navigate from category to category, as well as perform other functions such as reviewing our inspection, uploading it or emailing it, entering final comments, and deleting, renaming, copying, and pasting categories. You can scroll up and down the category list by simply moving your finger to see all the categories in the list. Let's go ahead and tap on Lots and Grounds to get started. We're now looking at the Edit Category screen. And this screen lists all the inspection items that need to be filled out for the category, as well as it has a spot for a disclaimer and a spot where you can mark the category as not applicable. Just like we could on the previous screen, you can scroll up and down this list to see all the items within it. There are several different ways to enter information on a line. You can fill out a line on this screen, or you can enter the Edit Line screen and fill it out that way. We'll take a look at both methods in this video. Let's get started and fill out the driveway line. First, we have the rating. The driveway is acceptable, so we want to put in the acceptable rating. You can select the rating either by double tapping on it or by tapping and holding your finger on the line. If you double tap, it'll put in the first rating, and then each time you double tap, it'll cycle to the next rating. If you tap and hold, then it's automatically going to cycle through the ratings until you find the one you want, and then once you do, you simply let go and it inputs it. It's up to you which method you prefer for entering data, but for this tutorial, we'll be using tap and hold. Now that we've put in our rating, next we have our description. This is where we can select the material. We have the same options for filling out this as we did with the rating, so let's go ahead and mark it as concrete. We've now finished the driveway line, and as you can see, now that the line is complete, the background is shaded green. And this is just a visual cue letting you know that this line is complete. Now that the driveway line is filled out, we're going to move on to the walks line. We're going to say that the walks line have some issues, so we're going to mark it as marginal. So we're going to hold our finger down and cycle through the options. We'll let go once we see the M for marginal. Next, we'll go to the description, and we're going to say it's made out of concrete, so we'll simply double tap that. Now, since there's an issue, we want to talk about what that issue is, and to do that, we have a spot here for notes. We can enter a note from the drop-down list by simply holding our finger on the notes, and it's going to cycle through here just like we saw before. So once we find the one we want, we'll simply let go, and then a note's been entered. You can continue working your way through this category by filling out information this same way. Now we're going to take a look at the second way to enter information, and that's by entering the Edit Line screen. And to do this, we're going to tap directly on where it says Steps and Stoops, and it brings up the Edit Line screen. On this screen, we can easily enter a rating by simply tapping on the appropriate rating. So here, we'll just tap on A for acceptable. We can input a description by tapping on the drop-down list here and seeing all our options. We simply select the one that we want. Now that the line is finished, we're ready to move on to the next line. And there's several different ways to do this. First, we can simply tap the Next button here in the top right corner. We can also tap the Back button in the top left corner, and this will take us back to the Edit Category screen where you can continue working through each line. However, the simplest way is to simply swipe your finger from right to left across the screen, and when you do that, it takes you to the next line, which happens to be porch. You can use the same concept, and if you swipe from left to right, it'll take you to the previous line. So now that we're looking at the porch line, we're going to say it's acceptable and that it's made out of concrete. And to do this, you can tap the rating and then a description, just like we've done before, or you can simplify the process by taking advantage of the auto rating entry option. So autocomplete rating entry is an option in program settings. If this is turned on and you select the description before you enter a rating, the program is going to automatically select the first rating for you. This can be a huge time saver since most of the items you inspect are going to be okay and acceptable will be the rating you would want. Let's go ahead and we're going to say that the porch is concrete. So we'll select concrete. And as you can see, when we did that, it automatically put in acceptable for the rating. Let's go ahead and swipe to our next line. We're now looking at the patio line. We'll say this property doesn't have a patio, so we'll mark it as not applicable, and we'll swipe to our next line. We're now looking at the deck line, and we're going to say that the deck is defective and that it's made out of stained wood. Since the item is defective, we want to put a note in to explain why. And there's two different ways to enter a note. First, we can select our note dropdown and see all the options that are already available in our dropdown list. You can select an item either by tapping on the arrow next to it or by double tapping it. And so we're going to say there's some moisture damage. So we'll just double tap right on moisture damage, and then it inputs the note. The second way to enter information is to type something new in. And this is simply done by tapping in the note box, which we've already done, and then brings up the keyboard here, and then we can type in what we want. So let's go ahead and type in another note. You can do the same thing as far as typing in a description by simply tapping on the description box as well. On most devices, you can also use voice recognition. So with this, you can actually talk into your device and it'll take what you say and then convert it to text. And so to do this, we'll tap on the microphone button right next to our space bar, and then we'll say, "This is a new note." And as you can see, it took what we said and it turned it right into text, and this can be a big time saver. Instead of having to type everything out, just talk right into your device and it puts it right there in for you. You'll notice that on the toolbar at the top of the screen, we have a couple different icons. The first one is your camera button. When you need to take a picture of a defect, you simply tap on the camera button and the program is going to automatically pull up your camera on your device. We'll go ahead, we're going to tap on this. I'm going to snap a picture here of the microphone I'm recording with to show how this works. We'll tap on Use Photo. On this screen, we have several options to choose from. We can take another picture that will be added to this line. We can add a picture from our camera roll to the line. We can delete the picture, or we can tap on the button in the middle to edit it. Let's go ahead and tap on our Edit button. Here, we can edit the size of the photo. We can add markups such as arrows and text, and we can also rotate it. And so first thing we're going to do here is we're going to rotate it because it's sideways. So we'll simply tap on that, and our picture's rotated. Now, let's quickly add in a couple markups. So we can tap on this paintbrush to change the color, and we'll change this to blue. We already have arrows selected, and so you just take your finger and you draw on the picture. We can change this from arrow to either text or ellipse, so we'll select ellipse, and then we'll draw one of these on here as well. Once you're done making any markups, simply tap on Close. As you can see, your photo's been added directly to this line, and it shows up right here with the markups that you added. So that's a look at the camera button. The next button is your camera roll button. If you tap on this, it'll pull up your device's gallery or your camera roll. So if you already have a picture on your device that you want to use, you simply tap on this and it'll open up your picture folder. You find the one you want to use, and then it adds it right into the report. If you have multiple pictures on a line, you'll see a button that shows up right here that says More, and you can tap on that to cycle through all the pictures on the line. Let's go ahead and swipe to the next line. If you want to delete a line, you can delete this by simply tapping on the delete icon, which is the trash can here. And when you do this, it'll ask you, do you want to delete this line? You tap on yes, and then that line will be removed and it will take you to the next line. If you're in the edit line screen and you're on the last screen in that category and you swipe to go to the next item, it'll simply take you back to the edit category screen. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tap on back so we can go back to the edit category screen. You now know everything you need to know to be able to fill out a category. When you're ready to move on to the next category, you can switch between categories the same ways you can switch between lines. You can swipe to the next category by simply swiping from right to left. You can use this scroll bar right here to find the category you want to move to. or you can tap this left and this right arrow to go to the next or the previous category. To see an entire list of categories and jump to the one you want, tap on the category name and you'll see the full list, and you can simply jump where you want to go. Let's tap back and go back to our Choose Category screen. If you notice, the Lots and Grounds has a yellow section to it. This is a progress indicator that lets you know how much of the category has been filled out. Once the entire category is filled out, the entire line will be yellow, and there'll also be a check mark next to it letting you know it's done. That's a look at how to fill out information on the app. Once you're finished with an inspection, you can review it using the summary review and the picture review. So if we swipe across here, we have an option for completeness check. And so if we tap on this, this will show you everything in your report that's not been filled out. And it's a great way to make sure you don't miss anything. So we'll go ahead and tap on back. You also have the options to either upload or email the report. And so if you want to take this inspection and then either finish it up somewhere else, or if you want to send it out from a different device, you could just upload it, it puts on your cloud drive, and then you can easily grab that on any other device to do what you want. With PalmTech, you can do the entire inspection in the field from start to finish, and that's where this email button comes in. When you tap the email button, what it does is it creates a PDF, turns it into an email, and then it sends an email to your own email address. So let's take a look at how this works. So I'm going to tap on this icon, and when it does this, a box appears letting you know that first this inspection is going to be uploaded, and then it starts to create the report, and it gives you a little bit of a countdown letting you know it typically takes less than a minute and letting you know how much longer approximately it's going to take for it to finish. Once it's finished, a box will appear saying that the PDF has been sent to your email, and that's what we're looking at here. And so we can tap on close, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our email and take a look at the report. So we'll tap on mail. So as we can see, the email just came in, so we'll tap on this to pull it up, and it'll download the PDF. And if we tap on the PDF, it'll pull it up. Here we can see our cover page, and you can set this cover page up to look the way you want. Let's just go ahead and we're going to scroll our way through. And one of the great things about this is not only can you do it all in field, but here you can see exactly what the report's going to look like. So if you wanted to give it an in-depth review, you could, and then simply send it off. And so we've looked at the report. It looks good. I can just go back to the message and then forward it on to where it needs to go, make any changes to the email body that I want, put in the client's email address, and then send it off to them. And then you've done the report from start to finish. This concludes the video on the basics of entering information on the PalmTech app.